We are discussing the hip-hop music with a focus more on women artists within this genre, and in studio we joined by Castle Lite presents a hip-hop Herstory. I mean, this is a musical experience which highlights and celebrates the role that females have played in the evolution of hip-hop over time. The concert will be a fully immersive experience, tapping into all pillars of hip-hop from dance, fashion, all the way to graffiti and obviously rapping. This morning we're discussing the role that women have played in the evolution of hip-hop with publicist Lerato Sengadi, media personality Lika Sumba and producer Zandi Tisane. Welcome back, ladies. Before we enter the ad break, I mean, we're discussing that, if a male artist, a male hip-hop artist is booked for a particular event, he has a list of demands that he needs to be helped with. But when a female artist demands something, then it's a big issue. She's a diva, she's a prima donna.
Well, I mean, again, I think it just speaks back to the fact that I think women are expected to just feel grateful being allowed to participate in the first place. And so when you behave like someone who knows who they are and has a specific set of expectations, it's kind of, that's why it's looked at as being like you're being a diva. It's because people don't think that you're being grateful for being allowed to participate. And I think all of those perceptions are what feed into what Castle Lite's addressing with this concert.
And well, Castle Lite will definitely be addressing such issues as why can't a female artist hold her own concert? If male artists are doing it so brilliantly, why aren't women doing it?
I think it just goes back to what's happening globally. Like she said, that as women, we must be just grateful to be able to have a seat at the table. Yeah. When actually behind the scenes, women have been key players in molding and building careers of hip-hop artists for decades. You know, females in hip-hop, that history is so rich. Just from the very beginning of hip-hop in the 70s till now, there's been so many women who've done groundbreaking things for males, helping their careers, even locally. Like Lee has single-handedly, like, basically guided hip-hop to where it is now. You know, but a lot of people wouldn't know, unless if you're from a certain generation, that she's an icon. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Because the hip-hop narrative is always from a male perspective. And that's what we're trying to maneuver out of right now with Herstory.
We have international greats like Queen Latifah, Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj. Ideally, they're supposed to have paved the way for African female hip-hop artists, but it's not happening.
I think I understand where the perception where that's concerned, but it's really hard to almost lay that on individual people, because sometimes I think in order to pave the way, it's just by being the best version of yourself. And once you open a door, other doors open. So, for example, you know, when I think of people like Queen Latifah, and you think way back, UNITY, that particular song, that just gave women everywhere this confidence that, hey, don't just treat me like I'm on the side. I'm important. I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to have more than just a seat at the table. I don't have to fight my way into hip hop. I own a part of it. I own a part of the narrative. I think globally, though, you know, we are seeing a change where we are seeing hip-hop from African female hip-hop artists doing well. So Shoma Josie, she just had a phenomenal experience at Afropunk in Brooklyn. Literally, people in New York were busy messaging and saying, who's this girl? So people are doing well, and I think there's a changing of tides. I think right now it's the century of, it's the African century, it's the female century, and with that, obviously, hip-hop and women in hip-hop are going to have more of a prominent role.
And I want to ask all three of you this. Are you at all happy with the way women are portrayed in music videos? I mean, some may think that they are being objectified in a particular sense. Are you at all happy? And I mean, especially the male species, we keep on cheering them on.
I think, you know, this is that type of question that could go wrong if I answer funny. But I do think, you know, at the end of the day, at the beginning I made a comment about how everybody believes that the kind of hip-hop or the kind of rapper should be a Nicki Minaj. And no disrespect to her, love what she's doing, you know, there's all different types. I think, you know, if the woman is making a choice to present herself in a certain way, she's making that choice. It's not my place to say, hey, you know, like step out of that. I do think historically, though, it has always been a way where women have been objectified, and not just in hip hop. If we look at advertising, if you look at the way that, you know, brands have shot women always are like, oh, you know, you look to the side, slow motion, but men are more powerful, look forward. And you know, like what Zandi said, you know, hip hop takes the rap for what's happening in the world because it's a voice for the voiceless, because it's a genre where people speak a lot. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to answer that question without getting in trouble.
I think
so. I don't want to be.
Before you continue, let's take a look at this tweet. Nazim says, do female artists get more bookings than men in this industry? Pertinent question.
No.
No.
Across the world, across genres, no.
Jeez, man, this is so sad.
No.
What has gone wrong, though?
It's society, actually. It's everybody.
But I think,
I was saying again, we can't blame hip hop for what's happening in terms of women. This is a global pandemic. But I think the great thing about hip hop is that it can be a vehicle to address these issues as well.
Okay.
And
a vehicle for change,
And just to add to that, because, you know, when we've seen hip-hop be the voice when there's been struggles and everything, hip-hop has been that voice. Now, I feel that with this particular concert, hip-hop is also going to be a voice, and a change is going to change the way that we see women in hip-hop.
All right, ladies, man, I can't thank you enough, hey? I really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much.
All right, we were discussing the kind of impact that hip-hop artists have on the industry. We're in conversation with Zandi, Lerato, and Lee. They've got intimate knowledge of this industry. All right, it is 7 minutes before 8 o'clock. Let's go to our next performance, or let's take a break.